والآن مع كلمة الأستاذة الدكتورة جاكلين كاوستن، منسق مشروع بيسز بجامعة كوفنتري بالمملكة المتحدة، والتي ستعطي الحضور سواء كان في الأون كامبس أو أونلاين فكرة ونظرة عامة عن مشروع بيسز والخطوات التي تم اتخاذها خلال فترة 3 سنوات ونصف مرت مع جميع الجامعات. دكتور جاكلين أونلاين.
I can't start my video, Khalifa, because you have to unmute my video. Hello, Khalifa. I am here. I'm just waiting for you to release my video.
Give me a second.
Oh, yes. Here we go.
Thank you.
Here we go. Okay, good morning, everybody. Good morning in Alexandria, and good morning to everybody online. I really wish that we could be there with you. So now I'm just going to share my screen and have a short presentation for you. So, okay. Okay, probably take a few seconds. Let me know when you can see it. Okay, so hopefully you should be able to see my slides now. And firstly, I would like to thank our honoured guests, Her Excellency Dr. Naveen El Kabaj, Minister of Social Solidarity in Egypt, His Excellency Professor Dr. Ahmed Kabir Shidid, President of Fayoum University, His Excellency Professor Dr. Ismail Abdel Kafar Ismail Farak, President of Arab Academy of Science, Technology and Maritime Transport. I'd like to thank all of our esteemed speakers and guests. Special thanks go to Dr. Ahmed Khalifa Mahana, Professor Mohammed Fahmi Shahada, and all of the committee at Arab Academy for organising the conference. And to all of the PACES partners for working so hard over the last 3 years. Thank you to all the participants and to all of you for joining us today, and especially to the European Union Erasmus Plus programme for funding the PACES project and for making it all possible. According to the World Health Organization, in 2020 there are more than 1 billion people in the world who live with some form of disability. And this is increasing day by day. Young people with a disability are much less likely to go to university, and of those that achieve a degree, there is a much lower percentage of graduates with a disability who will gain employment compared to those without. In 2017, with our partners, we started the PACES project to try to change this. And today, this conference allows us to celebrate our work over the last 3 years and to work with the ministries, the universities, the employers' organisations, and of course the students to discuss how we can take this further. So I'm going to talk about the PACES project and more importantly the impact it has made. But firstly, I want to talk about the background to PACES and the Erasmus Plus programme. In 2013, we successfully won a grant for the Swing project, which was also about setting up accessibility centres and also funded by the Erasmus Plus programme, and the first in this suite of projects. with my good friends from Ibn Tufayl University in Kenitra, Abdul Malik SRD University in Tetuan, the University of Alicante, and of course here in Alexandria with Arab Academy, where the first conference was held in 2015. The Swing Project was heralded as a beacon of good practice at the Erasmus Plus Coordinators Conference in Brussels, and it is the basis for the PACES project. When Swing finished, we then worked on a similar project called Muse, with our partners from Alicante University, working with universities in South America to help their students with disabilities in Chile, Argentina, and Mexico. This project was deemed to be the top Erasmus Plus project in South America for best practice. And then we wrote PACES with Professor Fahmi Shahada at Arab Academy, which follows on from Swing and Muse. And the focus of all of these projects is to increase access to university for students with disabilities. For us all, it is important to create impact, which means in terms of the project that something has changed for the better. This project is not just to provide equipment, not just to provide training, but for us to work together to create a better environment in universities for the future, so that students with disabilities can equally access a university education and ultimately employment. The aim of PACES is to set up a system and programme to support the modernisation of higher education by developing accessibility centres, so that students can access support services and ultimately move through education into employment or further study. And the objectives of PACES are fivefold. 1, transfer of good practice, assessing needs and making recommendations. 2, to build and progress the accessibility centres, and we already had 3 set up from the Swing project. 3, to build on the Swing training to create a training handbook. 4, to establish an employers network and mentors in business, and 5, to develop student peer-to-peer networks. There are 12 partners in the Swing project, 4 from the EU, 4 from Morocco, and 1 from Egypt. We help each other, we share knowledge and we borrow good practices. It's a well-balanced project where different universities bring their different skills and experiences to the mix. The first work package involved asking students and staff what the current situation was in their universities and what they needed. We conducted surveys and we held focus groups, and this is what they said they want: employability support, training for staff and students, needs assessment, accessible learning resources, braille printers, policies on lecture recording, social groups for students with disabilities, and accessibility centres. And as you can see, employment is at the top of the list. Like the majority of all students everywhere, students with disabilities want to get a job and a fulfilling career. Dr. Sarah Merry has compiled a report about this, which is available to you in hard copy and on the website. 6 new accessibility centres were created, and 4 other centres were progressed and improved, building on the 4 accessibility centres already created during the Swing project. This now makes 10 accessibility centres because of PACES. The Accessibility Centre in University of Moulay Ismail was visited by employers and government staff who were inspired to sponsor a full scholarship for students with disabilities. A new innovation for the project was the addition of pop-up accessibility centres, which meant that these mobile, flexible pop-up centres could be taken out to different places where people live who would not have had the benefit of visiting the universities, and therefore teachers, trainers, students and their families can get an idea of the accessible technology and the support available to them when they go to university. And despite the COVID-19 pandemic, the pop-up accessibility centres have visited over 15 venues, such as schools, municipal spaces and libraries, taking PACES out of the university and into the community. As you know, training of teachers, trainers, support staff and students has been very difficult in the COVID-19 situation. Teachers and lecturers have been asked to put most of their teaching online, and although it felt like an extra task to some people, it was actually a joy to others. to train teachers, employers and volunteers about working with students who have a disability. The aim being to understand how to make learning more accessible and to improve equality in the workplace. All PACES universities are including PACES training in their induction courses. In fact, this has been so effective that 2 of the universities, ASU and Arab Academy, are providing training to staff from universities outside of the PACES project. And this shows the spread of knowledge and capacity building. AU University has even provided training to government staff and to employers off-site. The aim of recruiting volunteers was not only to help students with disabilities throughout their student life and to include students with disabilities in social activities, but so that all students understand the implication of what it means to have a disability. And therefore, we are training the future architects, teachers, psychologists, engineers, etc., to create universal design in whatever job they do, so that we don't treat disability as a problem in the workplace. We design the workplace to make it equal for all. And the amazing students of the PACES universities have been so enthusiastic that we recruited many more volunteer students in our program than we had planned to. Arab Academy alone has recruited 399 volunteers. The world changed in 2020 when the COVID-19 virus emerged, creating havoc in most countries in the world. Activities have been delayed, people are working from home, students are learning online, and we have been affected in everything that we do. Communication has been an issue. We have not been able to meet each other face to face, and we know that we work much better when we meet in person. We get a lot more done when we're in the same room. As part of the project, we were introduced to Zoom video meetings long before everyone else was using it. And it's been a great benefit to us all, meeting online and over Zoom for teaching and training. During COVID-19, activities in PACES carried on a little more slowly and a little differently than we had intended, but we still did it, and we've covered all of our activities. The European Union Erasmus Plus programme has been very supportive and very understanding of the situation, and therefore we were able to extend the project by 6 months. And the main reason we overcame the obstacles is that we are all determined and passionate about this project. Dissemination is the gateway to impact, sharing knowledge and getting people on side, helping them to understand the issues and, more importantly, the solutions. It's the first step to make changes, changing attitudes and mindsets that lead people to take action. Professor Sana Haroon from Fayoum University has made contact with the President of Egypt regarding the work of the PACES project. Arab Academy will join the presidential ceremony held for and by people with disabilities in the presence of His Excellency Mr. Abdel Fattah el-Sisi, the Egyptian President, and under the supervision of the Egyptian Sports Federation for Intellectual Disabilities. The PACES team will share their stories and their good practice. Hissène Banalouch, a Moroccan Instagram YouTube influencer, visited Ibn Toffa University to learn about the work of the PACES project, and a video of her visit has had thousands of views. Professor Hadifa Madisra and her team at University Mohammed V of Rabat hosted a well-attended conference where organisations disseminated their work with students and disabilities. An Arab Academy PACES team has joined 2 of the biggest entrepreneurship summits in Egypt. And we have made impact through the PACES project. We have made giant steps in building capacity for students with disabilities. Mansoura University has created new master's level courses in special education as a result of their involvement in the PACES project, which is a fantastic capacity building impact. Professor Matjaz Debjek, our partner at the University of Maribor, Slovenia, became the coordinator for accessibility for the World Federation of Deaf during the project, bringing his influence to PACES and recommending improvements. At Mohammed V University, 72 students are engaged in assisting candidates applying for recruitment organised by the Ministry of Finance. Arab Academy started the Care Club, a student chapter to volunteer and support students with disabilities as part of the sustainability. And 12 graduates with disabilities have been employed by Ibn Tufayl University. We have even more impact. We've established 10 accessibility centres, and the Arab Academy University in Aswan is looking to create an accessibility centre there. This will make 11, 3 more than we had planned for. Ibn Tufayl University in Morocco now has a fully accessible campus. Since the Swing project, they've made changes to every building. They also guarantee accommodation for students with disabilities and much, much more. 1,200 student volunteers have been recruited and trained. 19 more pop-up accessibility centre visits are planned for March to schools and community centres, and this will take the pop-up visits to over 30. And we heard at the PACES Morocco conference, the Morocco Ministry of Solidarity, Social Development, Equality and Family pledge more legislation to give finances and resources to university and school students with a disability, making integrated education the goal for inclusiveness, implementing fairer employment practices, and using the media for awareness campaigns. And now here we are today, we can advance one of the most important work packages, employability. The aim of this part of the project was to recruit employers as mentors, run round tables and employability workshops, and collect placement schemes. And most importantly, we aim to set up a national higher education and employer network in Egypt and Morocco. Because when you recruit from the widest possible pool of talent, this can have a positive impact on your business and on profits. Employing disabled people is not an act of charity. It is a reflection of a business that strives to be inclusive of everyone, wanting to tap into skills and experience wherever they are found, and supports everyone to give their best, ultimately benefiting the business. As one of the outputs, with all of our partners, we have created an employers' charter focused on students through the PACES project. And there are some wonderful organisations in Egypt already working towards disability confidence in the workplace. And most of them are here and already committed. And I really hope that today and tomorrow we can work together to build that network and spread it more widely through the partner countries. This will be one of the best legacies of PACES. So we ask ourselves, what is next? All of the PACES partners are committed to continuing the work of the accessibility centres. The pop-up mobile centres will continue to visit schools and community spaces in Egypt and Morocco. Training will continue, and it has already become part of induction for staff, so that every staff member understands what it means to help students with disabilities in the university to progress to graduation and beyond. Student volunteering will continue, supporting their peers every year. And when our students go out into the world, they will spread the work of PACES. The Higher Education Employer Network will continue and will develop. It will support employers and organisations to provide placements for students with disabilities during their studies, and encourage them to employ people with disabilities in their workplaces. Employers and students are essential to help shape and grow this network. And finally, the legacy of PACES will be to create a more just, equal and diverse society. So thank you very much.